Have you ever noticed that some people can see right through you while you can barely understand your own reactions? There's an invisible game happening in every conversation, in every glance, in every silence, and most people are playing without even knowing the rules. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Power doesn't belong to whoever shouts the loudest, but to whoever deciphers the game before the board is revealed. The truth is, you're being read right now. Every word you choose, every pause in your speech, every involuntary movement of your hands is transmitting messages you don't even control. And while you remain unconscious of this silent language, others are using this information to manipulate, persuade, and shape your decisions. The question isn't whether you'll be read, but who will read you first. Machiavelli wasn't a monster. He was a brutal observer of human nature. While other philosophers of his time wrote about how people should be, he had the courage to describe how they really are. And that difference changed everything. Because when you abandon romantic illusions about universal goodness and pure motivations, you can finally see the real theater of human existence. Every person you meet is operating through a carefully constructed mask, hiding interests, fears, and agendas that rarely match what they say out loud. Think about how many times you've trusted someone because their words sounded sincere, only to discover later there was a completely different agenda behind that kindness. Think about how many opportunities you've lost because you couldn't identify the exact moment when someone was testing you, measuring your worth, deciding whether you were worth investing in or discarding. These crucial moments happen in seconds, and those who don't know how to read the signs remain trapped in an eternal state of reaction, always one step behind in the social dance. The power to read people isn't a mystical gift reserved for the chosen few. It's a skill that can be developed, refined, transformed into second nature. But it requires something most people desperately avoid: the willingness to see reality without the comfortable filters of naivety. It requires you to accept that not all kindness is genuine, that not every smile reflects joy, that not all help comes without an invisible price attached. The first layer of human reading is in the eyes. Machiavelli knew that eyes betray even the most skilled liars. It's not about maintaining prolonged eye contact or avoiding it completely. It's about observing micro-patterns. When someone says they agree with you, but their eyes shift left for a fraction of a second, you just witnessed cognitive dissonance. Their mind is searching for the alternative narrative they actually believe. When someone smiles, but the area around their eyes remains tense and motionless, you're seeing a fabricated emotion, not a felt one. But here's the secret that transforms casual observers into master readers. It's not what people do that reveals their true nature. It's what they do when they don't realize they're being observed. It's the micro-expression that lasts half a second before they put the mask back on. It's the involuntary sigh when they think no one is paying attention. It's the subtle shift in posture when a specific topic is mentioned. These microscopic windows into the soul reveal more than hours of planned conversation. Have you noticed how some people ask questions but never really listen to the answers? They're just waiting for their turn to speak, already formulating the next sentence while you're still in the middle of yours. This is the first red flag of manipulation, the absence of genuine curiosity. People who want to use you don't care about your story, your struggles, or your perspective. They only care about what they can extract from you. And they reveal this through that impatience masked as enthusiasm. Someone's body language tells you whether you're being seen as an equal, a superior, or a tool. When someone subconsciously leans away from you during a conversation, their body is saying what their polite words hide. You're not important enough to deserve their full space. When someone crosses their arms, not from cold, but right after you share an idea, you just saw physical resistance to accepting your point of view. When someone constantly checks their phone while you're speaking, you're competing with everything else in their lives and losing. Machiavelli taught that you should be loved and feared, but if you had to choose, better to be feared. Why? Because he understood that human love is conditional, fluctuating, based on convenience. But respect born from recognizing someone's power is more durable. And here's the connection. When you demonstrate that you can read people, that you can't be easily manipulated, that you see through social masks, you automatically gain that respect. People think twice before trying games with someone who knows the rules better than they do. The second layer of human reading is in inconsistency. Every human being has behavioral patterns. When someone who's normally punctual starts arriving late repeatedly, something has changed. When someone who used to be communicative becomes evasive, there's a hidden reason. When someone who never showed interest in your personal life suddenly starts asking detailed questions, they need something. These deviations from established patterns are like silent alarms, alerting you that the dynamic has changed and you need to recalibrate your approach. But there's an even deeper level of reading that separates amateurs from masters. It's the ability to identify not just what people want from you now, but what they fundamentally need. Because we all operate through unmet needs that drive our behavior like puppets on invisible strings. Someone who constantly seeks external validation has a deep wound of self-esteem. Someone who needs to dominate every conversation is compensating for an internal sense of powerlessness. Someone who can't accept genuine compliments is at war with themselves. And here's where Machiavelli becomes truly relevant to your modern life. He understood that knowledge without action is useless. It's not enough to observe these dynamics. You need to use this knowledge strategically. When you identify that someone is trying to manipulate you through guilt, you don't need to confront directly. You simply remove the emotional power they're trying to exert. When you notice someone is testing your limits, you establish clear boundaries without elaborate explanations. When you see someone is trying to create emotional debt through unsolicited favors, you politely decline or reciprocate immediately, maintaining the balance of power. The most valuable skill you can develop isn't just reading people, but controlling what they read in you. Because while you're observing, they're also observing. The difference is that now you know this and can consciously orchestrate the messages you send. You can choose when to be vulnerable and when to wear armor. You can decide how much information to share and with whom. You can manipulate perceptions not through lies, but through strategic curation of the truth you reveal. But there's an even deeper secret that few know, a paradox at the heart of Machiavelli's philosophy that transforms everything. He wrote that it's better to be real than to seem real, but if you can't be both, seeming is enough. But the true master understands that the greatest illusion is having no illusion. It's being so genuinely confident in your own worth that you don't need games. It's being so comfortable with your own nature that others' manipulation becomes irrelevant. The ultimate liberation doesn't come from becoming the supreme manipulator, but from becoming unmanipulable. When you deeply understand your own patterns, your own wounds, your own needs, no one can use those levers against you. When you're at peace with your flaws and clear about your values, attempts at emotional manipulation simply bounce off. You see the games, recognize the strategies, and consciously choose not to play. This is the true mastery that Machiavelli whispers across centuries, knowing human nature so deeply that you transcend its game. Seeing the masks so clearly that you no longer need to wear one, understanding manipulation so completely that you become transparently authentic because you no longer fear being used. You'll never be used again because you finally learn to read not just others, but yourself. And in that deep reading, you discover that the greatest power isn't in controlling people, but in freeing yourself from the need to be controlled. Machiavelli's journey doesn't end with you becoming the manipulative prince. It ends with you becoming the fully conscious human being who doesn't need to manipulate because you've chosen the rarest power of all, internal freedom. If these words resonated somewhere deep within you, if you recognized fragments of your own journey in this reflection, then share this message with someone who also needs to awaken to the invisible game. Subscribe to this channel because we'll continue exploring these uncomfortable truths that transform. And leave in the comments, what was the moment when you finally saw through someone and everything changed?